welcome. So, it is with a little bit of apprehension that I bring you this brew day video. So this was meant to be a bit of an experiment. I've had quite a few Omnipollo beers recently, and of course anybody who's had an Omnipollo beer would know that the flavours are absolutely amazing. I've had I had a Tiny Rebel beer, which is a Marshmallow porter. So I decided, let's have a little go at trying to do something along the lines of a Marshmallow porter. So I bought a shit ton of marshmallow, all the grain that I needed, was ready to go, and as you'll see from the brew day video which will follow, and I hope, I haven't edited the video at the point of recording this part of the video, so I'm not 100% sure whether it'll have every little bit of the calamities that continue to happen during the brew day, whether they were captured wholly on video, but you'll see that it was probably the worst brew day I've ever had in my entire life. Yeah, I'll let you watch the video, and you can see just how bad it really is. But yeah, once you've looked at the video, I'm going to do a taste test of the finished beer to see whether the events that happened in the video and whether all of the things that went wrong had any effect on the finished beer, because we will be able to see afterwards. So yeah, look, enjoy the video. This is kind of a video on how not to make a beer. So yeah, enjoy, and then we'll do a taste test at the end of it, so we'll see whether it's everything I went through was really worthwhile. Hello there! So, today is brew day, as you can tell. Everything's set up in the background, getting ready to go. Strike water's coming up, really excited. So today I am brewing a coconut marshmallow imperial porter. So this is kind of based off of beer that I've tried before. So I've tried, you ever tried Tiny Rebel's marshmallow porter? They also do an imperial version. It's absolutely amazing. So I was originally going to do a coconut porter. Decided that I didn't think the tastes were complex enough, so bought a load of marshmallow, going to chuck a load of marshmallow in. So I've got my grain ready here. So this is a load of grain that I've ordered from Cake Kingdom. So it's all, we'll get the exact amounts all measured out. So if I read out what I've got in the recipe here for you, I've got 7.5 kilograms of Maris Otter, 1.5 kilos of flaked oats, which I've got in a bag around the side there. 380 grams of chocolate malt, 300 grams of caramel malt or crystal malt 60, 230 grams of crystal 120, 140 grams of black malt. So I'm going to chuck in 35 grams of Northern Brewer at 60 minute stage. I've got 600 grams of marshmallows and 250 grams of toasted coconut that are going to go in at the 15 minute stage. And then for the last like 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes, I'm going to chuck in some more Northern Brewer. I'm using some Nottingham yeast, which I've got. I did a starter for it last week, but the grain didn't turn up, so I've had it in the fridge. I'll take that out in a minute and let that come up to room temperature before I chuck that in at the end of the boil, which will be like at the end of the brew, like 6 hours later. So yeah, so today it is fucking freezing. It's snowing, or has been snowing outside. It's the 18th of March, so it's really weird for this time of year, but yeah, snowed overnight, so it's really cold in the brew shed. So I've done some calculations. I've taken the temperature of the mash tun, which is at 1 degree. I've taken temperature of the grain, which is at 8 degree. This is in Celsius, by the way. So my measurements are that I need to have, I don't know if you can see this, but I need to have my strike water at 81.8 degrees Celsius in order to get a mashing temperature of about 68 degrees. So yeah, I'm waiting for the strike water to come up to temperature. Like my new mash paddle, got this from a guy off of Facebook, Paul, I can't remember his surname. I'll probably put a link to his details, but yeah, great mash paddle. I've been having so many problems recently with my plastic mash paddle bending when I am trying to stir it in the heat, which has been doing my head in, because obviously you don't get a good stir. This should be really good, so I can do his maiden voyage today, see what that comes out like. Other things that I'm changing today, my last few brews, I've been having issues with stuck sparges. Thankfully I've had a brew bag so I can lift it up and get the sparge going. But I actually think that it's the brew bag that's been causing the problem. I've had that brew bag for 3 years now. Yeah, I think over time it's stretched, it's got warped, and what's happening now is the brew bag is kind of getting sucked into the crevices of the mash tun and ending up blocking the mash tun. So I've decided to today, seeing as I take this apart and show you, but I've got a. Sorry, let's get this off of there. Yeah. So I've got a. As you can see, I've already got a bazooka screen in here, so I'm gonna use the bazooka screen and rely on the bits of grain in here, and rely on the bazooka screen to filter out all of the grain. Fingers crossed it all goes well, because if it doesn't, I'm pretty buggered. But if it doesn't, then it's about time I invested in a new mash tun. Anyway, so let's wait for this to come up to temperature, and then I'll chuck the grain in and we'll get ready to dough in. Okay, so we've got recirculation going on. The mash has been sat at 68 degrees for the last hour. As you can see, this is really full. This is another reason why I might be considering getting a new mash tun, because I like my high gravity beers, and yeah, they're always really full. But anyway, as you can see, I've got recirculation going. This is normally the point at which my previous, with the brew in a bag thing, would fall short, because all of a sudden this recirculation would kind of stop. But so far we're going okay. I'm going to leave this recirculating for about 20 minutes before I start mash out. But yeah, so far we're looking okay. Temperature in the tun at the moment is 65. I want to get that to about 69. So let's turn on the. So let me change the settings for this to be for 69. Well, 95, that's what I wanted the water going in to be. Let's change this to 69. And yeah, keep recirculating going until for the next 20 minutes. Then we'll start mash out. You don't need to see me adjusting this will be really boring. Actually, I should be, my mash out should be going up to 75, so I'm recirculating up to 75 degrees, and then I'll start mashing out. So, partway through circulation, we slowed down to a really fine trickle, so I can tell that the bazooka screen's got clogged up with fine grain at the bottom of the mash tun. So currently I'm sat here waiting for it to trickle. As you can see, it's just a fine trickle, which is fine. I'm going to let this run off for a while. You can see it's starting to fill up the bottom of the mash tun nicely, the boil kettle nicely. What I don't want is, I don't want to bring the grain bed out with it. I don't want loads of fine grain to come out of it, so I'm quite happy for the grain bed just to filter this out for a bit. Let this run down. Obviously it's going to take me a while to get that back up to temperature when it starts boiling. So this is slowing things down a bit. With that, the mash has gone down to 59 degrees, so the temperature's gone down, so I'm not able to bring the temperature up, which is what I wanted to do as part of the recirculation. I've got the sparge water sat there ready, so I'm going to sit here, I'm going to sparge this for, it's going to be about an hour while this runs off. But it tells me I need to rethink my whole mash setup, so I may be reinvesting in a new mash tun. I'd quite like to get something with a false bottom rather than having to use a bazooka screen, which just isn't cutting it. And also I really don't like the fact that I'm filling these up to the top. I'd like to get myself something with a little bit more room. So yeah, I think that's the death of this mash tun. But anyway, let's try and save this brew. Let this trickle out. In about an hour's time we'll see where we are. Hopefully we'll be ready in the boil kettle. Okay, so it's 45 minutes. This is the grain bed currently. We got running off into a plastic kettle, and we have half a kettle here. Not as clear as I would like it, due to the fact that yeah, I've had to massage had to put on a rubber glove and massage the bazooka a couple of times, which of course has forced a little bit of grain to go through. So yeah, not as clear as I would like it, but you know, at least it's running off. Let's turn the sparge on a little bit more now. Get a bit of sparge water in there. Look how steamy that is. Anyway, nightmare mash, or nightmare sparge. Yeah, definitely investing in a new mash tun. I've had enough of this one. Here we are, 28 litres of really nice brown wort. I just hope this comes out okay, considering the troubles I've had with the mash. But yeah, just managed to avert a boil over, which is really good. So this is looking really nice so far. You know, a lot of head proteins floating around on the top, and here I am now with 35 grams of Northern Brewer going in at the 60-minute mark. There we go. 45 more minutes. Yeah, 45 minutes. I will be chucking in some coconut and the marshmallows. Really interesting. Okay, so you can see this very well. There we go. So, really interested to see. So this is literally just after I put the marshmallows in. So before I put the marshmallows in, I took a gravity reading and it was on 1.082. Here we have just put the marshmallows in and I'm at a gravity reading of 1.093. Yeah, about 93. So a bit higher than I wanted it to be. But hey, you know, so I get a slightly higher gravity beer. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, so wort chiller's in. Flame out. I actually forgot to put the last hop addition in at the last 5 minutes. So here we are. I'm going to chuck them in at the whirlpool. So it's not the same as you know, boiling the hops, but you know, any bitterness that we're going to get out of the hops to add a little bit of flavour, we're going to get anyway. So hopefully that won't make too much difference. So yeah, flame out, chilling. Let's let this chill for a bit, and then we'll get it into the fermenter. Okay, so we're now down to temperature. As you can see, lots of particulates floating around in this. I mean, I blame that on the very poor mash that I ended up having. The sparge going a bit crazy. So we have here, this is my yeast starter from a week ago. It's been sat in the fridge. It's now up to room temperature. I'm going to pour that into the brew bucket. Ready to go. And now we're going to pour our wort into the bucket. There we go. So I'm going to leave this to drain off. Looks like there's about 24 litres in there so far. We're a bit higher than our original gravity, so looking good. 24, 25 litres. I mean, once a lot of that sediment that I've got in there settles down, I'm probably going to lose a fair bit from the final brew. But we'll see how we go. Whew, okay, so finally in the fermenter, we have finished off with 25 litres, which is great. So we ended up with 23 litres. It was over gravity at 1.094. So I added 2 extra litres of water, got it down to a gravity of 1.086, which is still above the original gravity that I wanted, but it's more closer to the gravity that I wanted. So I'm happy that I've got a bit more beer than I was hoping for. One problem I got with it is it's murky as hell, which is obviously there's going to be a lot of sediment in the bottom of this. I can imagine that when we get to the end of the fermentation, there'll be a big true cake at the bottom of the fermenter, which of course will affect the amount of beer that I'm going to have. So yeah, so I'm going to leave this now for 2 weeks, and then we will see what it's like when I keg and hopefully get to bottle some as well. Patient is looking good. Non-stop bubbling. There's like a pause of a breath every so often. Good. It's like there's massive crowding on there, but certainly some airlock activity. Okay, so you've seen the video. You've seen what a nightmare brew day that was, and how bad that stuck mash was. Fucking unbelievable. And the amount of particulate that ended up in the finished wort. But that's the finished beer, which at first glance looks really, really nice. It's quite a, you know, if you can see, it's not it's not a tight head, it's quite a foamy head. But it doesn't look too bad, you know, it's not looking alright. I mean, it's carbonated nicely, it's come out okay. Yeah, it's not too bad on first glance. On the aroma, now I've got a bit of hay fever, so my nose is a little bit blocked up. On the aroma though, it's just pungent alcohol aromas. I'd say, you know, there's some esters in there that I'm getting, quite strong esters. But yeah, quite a pungent alcohol-y kind of aroma. I'm just looking at my beer fridge, it's an 8.8% it came out at the end. You can see the head's disappearing quite quickly actually. So, you know, the head doesn't stay around for long. But I'm not getting any of the marshmallow that I would really have been hoping for with this beer, considering how much marshmallow I stuck in. You know, I don't know whether, you know, I did a lot of research online to try and see whether that was the best way of trying to get the marshmallow aroma, by sticking the marshmallow in at the end of the boil. I don't know whether it was. You know, I was worried about that having an effect on the yeast with the amount of kind of sugar that was coming off the marshmallow. Maybe that's what's giving the alcohol aroma, I don't know. Or whether it was just the, you know, the really bad mash. Maybe there's a lot of tannins that got extracted from the grain. I don't know. But yeah, there's a, you know, look at that head's gone. You know, it's disappearing, so the head's not staying around for long. And there's no lacing from the head, so it's not a nice thick head. It's just, you know, bubbles that are being thrown up by the CO2. But anyway, let's dive in and see what this tastes like. You know, at first it's not bad. It's a porter. It tastes like a, you know, a nice treacly kind of caramelly porter. The aftertaste is quite a lot of alcohol on the tongue. Yeah, there's lots of Easter flavours. There's like peary kind of flavours. You know, the mouthfeel's not that bad. I reckon that the marshmallow that went in at the end of the boil is probably what's given this mouthfeel. But that alcohol-y taste and the aroma from the alcohol is just a little bit too much. It makes it taste kind of slightly medicinal, or slightly, you know, kind of
medical, yeah, medical, synthetic, not natural. It just doesn't taste right. You know, I've got a whole keg of this stuff at the moment now. It's not too bad. It's not brilliant. You know, it's not. I could probably get by drinking it. I think that alcohol taste is probably going to dissipate over time. You know, this time of year I'm not going to be drinking a dark beer that much. I've got another keg with a light beer in it anyway, which I'll probably concentrate on drinking. So, you know, it's passable, it's okay. I wouldn't enter it into any bloody competitions, I wouldn't shout about it. It's okay. I think it will get better with age, at least I hope it will. You know, I can drink it. I'm quite happy to have a couple of pints with it, but it's nowhere near the beer that I was hoping for. You know, the marshmallow flavours that I was really hoping to get out of this, it's got none of that at all. You know, the kind of roasty flavours chocolatey flavours that I was hoping for, none of that's in here. There's a slight astringency to it, which is definitely from the stuck mash that I got, and the fact that I had to keep on massaging the grain, and lots of bits of the grain bed were coming out in the actual wort. So, you know, all in all, I'd say it's it's a failed beer. I will drink it over time. I think I'll leave this one as my dark beer to go along with my light beer. I think over a few months I'll end up drinking this, and hopefully it'll get better in time. But yeah, it's obviously on the back of that. I was really unhappy with my setup, so I went off and bought a new mash tun, which you will see in the video that will be coming up soon for a Mango Lassie double IPA, which I am doing. But yeah, you know, not a success. One of the worst beers I've probably... Is it the worst? No, it's not the worst beers I've done. It's definitely the worst brew day I've ever had. It's not the worst beer I've ever done. But yeah, not going to brew that again. I would like to try and investigate any other methods of trying to get the marshmallow flavour into the beer, whether I do add the marshmallows in the fermenter rather than into the boil kettle. Maybe that would work. I don't know, but I need to do a bit of investigation to try and figure out how companies like Tiny Rebel or, you know, Omnipollo or what's the other one, the newest one? Is it in London? I think it is. How they manage to get these kind of desserty, kind of sweet, you know, marshmallow flavours, vanilla flavours into their beers. I'd really like to know. Anyway, happy brewing, guys. Yeah, I hope you don't end up having a brew day like that one. But yeah, all the best.